All right. Um, Welcome back. This is American Futurist, and for this series of exploring futurism, we're going to be looking into post-futurism. A brief overview. So, when looking up this topic months ago, I asked someone at my Discord server like what it was, and 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 he, being a post-futurist, he described it as such. He describes it like this, and I quote: "Post-futurism is a recent phenomenon which flips traditional 20th century futurist trends on its head. The manifesto was published 100 years to the day after the original Futurist Manifesto, and with the same numbered format but inverted almost entirely. It's not anti-futurist, but rather a different interpretation on what is needed in modern futurism. It does not strive for the past or tradition, but rather sees fastness being shifted to other pursuits, that kindness embrace. Sleep can be faster than the modernization, which was once revolutionary, but is now status quo. Uh, Speed has slowed down. Cars are immobile, like like stupid slumbering tortoises in the city traffic. Only slowness is fast." End quote. So I'm going to be reading both the Italian Futurist Manifesto, the original, and the Post-Futurist Manifesto, and afterwards, I'm gonna tell you a little bit like of what this guy of the author of this manifesto, Franco Berardi, is. So that's what we'll be covering today. The Futurist Manifesto by Filippo Marinetti, February 1909. 1. We intend to sing the love of danger, the habit of energy and fearlessness. 2. Courage, audacity, and revolt will be essential elements of our poetry. 3. Up to now, literature has exalted a pensive immobility, ecstasy, and sleep. We intend to exalt aggressive action, a feverish insomnia, the racer's stride, the mortal leap, the punch, and the slap. 4. We affirm that the world's magnificence has been enriched by a new beauty, the beauty of speed, a racing car whose hood is adorned with great pipes, like serpents of explosive breath. A roaring car that seems to ride on grape shot is more beautiful than the victory of Samothrace. 5. We want to hum the man at the wheel, who hurls the lance of his spirit across the earth along the circle of its orbit. Number 6. The poet must spend himself with ardor, splendor, and generosity to swell in the enthusiastic fervor of the primordial elements. Number 7. Excerpt and struggle. There is no more beauty. No work without an aggressive character can be a masterpiece. Poetry must be conceived as a violent attack on unknown forces to reduce and prostrate them before man. We stand on the last promontory of the centuries. Why should we look back when what we want is to break down the mysterious doors of the impossible? Time and space died yesterday. We already live in the absolute because we have created eternal omnipresent speed. Number 9. We'll glorify war, the world's only hygiene. Militarism, beautiful ideas worth dying for, and scorn for woman. 10. We will destroy the museums, libraries, academies of every kind. We'll fight moralism, feminism, every opportunistic or utilitarian cowardice. Number 11. We will sing of great crowds excited by work, by pleasure, and by riot. We will sing of the multicolored, polyphonic tides of revolution in the modern capitals. We will sing of the vibrant nightly fervor of arsenals and shipyards, blazing with violent electric moons. greedy railway stations that devour smoke-plumed servants, factories hung on clouds by the crooked lines of their smoke, bridges that stride the rivers like giant gymnasts, flashing in the sun with a glitter of knives, adventurous steamers that sniff the horizon, deep-chested locomotives whose wheels paw the tracks like the hooves of enormous steel horses, brittled by tubing, and the sleek flight of planes whose propellers chatter in the winds like banners and seem to cheer like an enthusiastic crowd. So that's the Futurist Manifesto. Now, the Post-Futurist Manifesto by Franco Berardi, February 2009, so exactly 100 years after the Futurist Manifesto. Number 1, we want to sing. We want to sing of the danger of love, the daily creation of a sweet energy that is never dispersed. Number 2, the essential elements of our poetry will be irony, tenderness, and rebellion. Number 3, ideology and advertising have exalted the permanent mobilization of the productive and nervous energies of humankind towards profit and war. We want to exalt tenderness, sleep, and ecstasy, the frugality of needs, and the pleasure of the senses. Number 4, we declare that the splendor of the world has been enriched by a new beauty, the beauty of autonomy, each to our own rhythm. Nobody must be constrained to march on a uniform pace. Cars have lost their allure of rarity, and above all, they can no longer perform the task they were conceived for. Speed has slowed down. Cars are immobile, like stupid slumbering tortoises in the city traffic. Only slowness is fast. Number 5, we want to sing of the men and women who care for one another, to know one another and the world better. Number 6, the poet must expend herself with warmth and prodigality to increase the power of collective intelligence and reduce the time of wage labor. Number 7, beauty exists only in autonomy. No work that fails to express the intelligence of the possible can be a masterpiece. Poetry is a bridge cast over the abyss of nothingness to allow the sharing of different imaginations into free singularities. Number 8, we are on the extreme promontory of the centuries. We must look behind to remember the abyss of violence and horror that military aggressiveness and nationalist ignorance is capable of conjuring up at any moment in time. We have lived in a stagnant time of religion for too long. Omnipresent and eternal speed is already behind us in the internet, so we can forget its syncopated rhymes and find our singular rhythm. Number 9, we want to ridicule the idiots who spread the discourse of war, the fanatics of competition, the fanatics of the bearded gods who incite massacres, the fanatics terrorized by the disarming femininity blossoming in all of us. Number 10, we demand that art turns into a life-changing force. We seek to abolish the separation between poetry and mass communication, to reclaim the power of media from the merchants and return it to the poets and the sages. Number 11, we will sing of the great crowds who can finally free themselves from the slavery of wage labor and through solidarity revolt against exploitation. We will sing of the infinite web of knowledge and invention, the immaterial technology that frees us from physical hardship. We will sing of the rebellious cognitariat who is in touch with her own body. We will sing to the infinity of the present and abandon the illusion of a future. So Franco Berardi. So who is he? And what kind of ideas does he have, in short? Franco Berardi is an autonomous Marxist whose work mainly focuses on the role of the media and information technology within post-industrial capitalism. Unlike the orthodox Marxists, Berardi's autonomous theories draw on psychoanalysis, schizoanalysis, and communication theory to show how subjectivity and desire are bound up with the functioning of the capitalist system, rather than betraying events such as the the financial crisis of 2008 merely as an example of the inherently contradictory logic of capitalist accumulation. Thus he argues against privileging labor and critique and says that in quote, the solution to the economic difficulty of the situation cannot be solved with economic means. The solution is not economic, end quote. Human emotions and embodied communication becomes increasingly central to the production and consumption patterns that sustain capital flows in post-industrial society. And as such, Berardi uses the concept of cognitariat and info labor to analyze this psychosocial process. Among Berardi's other concerns are cultural representations and expectations about the future, from the proto-fascist futurism of Filippo Marinetti to the postmodern cyberpunk. This represents a greater concern with ideas and cultural expectations than the determinist materialist expression of a Marxism, which is often confined to purely economic or systemic analysis. Hopefully you learned a little bit about post-futurism, and if you're interested, you can actually read some of his works here. And I would also suggest to start off with his wiki page on Wikipedia before delving further into his other work. The next installment for exploring futurism, I'm thinking of doing Russian futurism, but I also want to do something on the proletariat as well, kind of cover them a little bit as well, since they do take place in the same area, roughly the same time. So do look out for that. And until then, this is American Futurist. I hope you have a great day.